Man, that always gets me pumped up. Oh my goodness. I'm not, I need to have some sort of like fanfare or something like loud and energetic to do so it's not anticlimactic when the intro stops and then I inevitably come in. So anyways, welcome. Hi, my name is Adam. I'm here on behalf of the Wisconsin Veterans Chamber of Commerce. This is your weekly office hours live, and we're here to just chat with you. Today, we have a very special guest, Jim Brzezinski with Tabak Law. We're going to be talking about VA benefits, the VA benefits process, maybe things that are current or trending in the VA benefits world, and along with some other things that he has going on that's super exciting, to include the building of a new tiny home village in Milwaukee. So lots of really exciting stuff. But before I dive into all that, I want to just go through a couple little housekeeping items. You know, the Wisconsin Veterans Chamber is hanging out on all social media platforms, and I'm going to go ahead and throw in the comments. And additionally, I'm going to, oh, look at that. I'm going to have it scroll across the bottom. Boom. Follow us across all platforms. We're a little bit of a different hat on different platforms. We've got, let's see, we're on Twitch now, which is super cool because we're hip and trendy. Right here, follow us across all platforms. We have this link tree, and you'll notice if you look at this link tree that I'm about to post in all the chats, boom, boom, boom. If you notice it at the very top link, today only, you know, or for a short period of time, for a limited time, you'll see the top link on there on our link tree says, we are hiring. And guess what? We're hiring the Wisconsin Veterans Chamber of Commerce. It doesn't happen very often, so this is really exciting. We're hiring. So click on that link tree link that's in the comments. Click on We're Hiring and go get more information about that position. We're looking for a membership director, so somebody that will help advocate on behalf of the chamber, that's going to get some great members to receive great benefits from us, and then together, you know, all boats rise, we can help build the Wisconsin veteran business community together. That's what we're here for. Or the Wisconsin business community overarchingly, by helping to talk about the benefits of hiring veteran talent, of getting veteran-owned businesses in your diverse supply chain pipelines. It helps benefit businesses across the board. We're a business organization. We don't just support veterans. We support the business world by bridging the gap between veteran talent and the wider business community. So if you want to be part of this movement, great leadership. Our executive director, Saul Newton's an awesome guy. Our board president, Doug Heading's a great guy. All awesome stuff. Work with us. Work with me. You know, come join the Wisconsin Veterans Chamber of Commerce. This ad is not going to be up long and it's going to be very competitive. But I encourage you to get in there and join us, or you know, throw your name in the hat, and we'll at least have a conversation. So, you know, enough rambling from me. Click on that link in there. But if you have any questions, comments, concerns about anything, about that job, about where I got my glasses, about the Green Bay Packers' disappointing performance in the NFC Championship yet again, you know, anything in between that and our topic for the day of VA benefits and the VA benefits process, please throw it in the chat, whether you're on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. If you want to stream to multiple platforms, just like us, we use StreamYard. We love using StreamYard. StreamYard is cool. You can ask me all about it. We have a handy affiliate link that we can show you, and you can click on it, and you can also sign up. So anyways, oh, we got a like flowing across here. Gosh, I love this platform. StreamYard's cool because I got LinkedIn over here, and I got Facebook and YouTube and Twitch and all that stuff. So anyways, thanks for joining us. Going to introduce our guest, bring him into the stream, and you get to stop listening to me, and then we're going to talk veteran benefits. So there we go. Jim, welcome to Office Hours Live, hosted by the Wisconsin Veterans Chamber of Commerce.
Well, thank you so much, Adam, for having me. And I just want to add, you know, you're talking about that music. Makes me kind of want to get into a freezer and start punching some sides of beef or something like that.
Right. It's like it's montage music.
Yeah. Well, then you had to mention the Packers, and that makes me want to go back to bed and pull the covers over my head.
No, so. It's like I shouldn't have said anything about the Packers because it's deflating.
I thought it was going to be their year, but
my older brother sent me a list of all the heartbreaks that Wisconsin sports fans have had to endure over the last decade, and just seeing them all side by side was sobering. All the NFC championships, all the way back to the Badgers and the NCAA basketball championship against, what was that, Duke? And I don't know. It's just we've experienced a lot of heartbreak here.
I saw that too, and I hope nobody ever sends that to me again, because that's just over and over. It's like you get so close and then nope, not happening.
Yeah, and I feel like, with arguably the greatest passer in the history of the game, why we only, I mean, I say only, I'm sure there are a lot of teams that would have loved to have had a Super Bowl victory or even a Super Bowl appearance, but the fact that we only got one out of that guy so far is a tragedy.
Yeah. So on to a little more business topic too. You mentioned,
exactly. Let's talk.
You mentioned hiring. Tabak Law is also hiring. We are
really okay.
Our veteran benefit practice area it's a nationwide practice, and I probably don't need to tell you or your followers, but there are so many issues with vets trying to get their benefits from the VA.
Yep.
And we've sort of had some big wins lately, and we've gotten some good exposure on that. So we are growing rapidly. I would guess we're going to, in the next year, we'll probably hire at least 5 up to 10 new, we call them case managers, to work with our veterans to, help to advocate on their behalf to get the veteran benefits. And
what kind of background do these case managers need to have? Are these people that have law degrees, or
no? It's more of a human service type of position. So there's a couple of different steps in a VA benefits process where the lawyer is overseeing things, but the case managers are getting records or talking with experts if need be, or getting statements, almost like a paralegal, but it's way more human services. So we call it a case manager because, when you're talking with vets who are struggling, it's a much more personal experience than you would expect from just a paralegal. So,
right.
Yeah. So, the people we're looking for, background, we love vets, of course, as many vets as possible. We would like to have working for Tabak Law. Office experience. A lot of people, just graduated college and are looking to do something that not only pays the bills, but also is, more of a helping type of profession, that sort of thing. We've got all kinds of backgrounds. If you are a caring person with office experience, it's a great job, and with all the growth, I think there's going to be a lot of opportunity to advance in the company in the coming years here too. So,
and these are in-person opportunities.
In person, we are set up. I actually do have some employee. I have one working in Atlanta. I have one in Arizona.
Okay.
One of the benefits of, I guess probably the only benefit of COVID is it made us really examine how we do business. And
same here. Yeah,
right. Everybody, right? So we all these years, people have been asking me if they could work from home, and I would say, no, I just don't think it would work. We got to be in the office, got to be by the copier and the fax machine, and yada yada. And every excuse in the book.
And the water cooler, that's where business
water cooler,
by the water cooler.
And of course, with COVID, we had to re-examine, and we've put in some technology to allow people to work from anywhere. And most of our employees, I think, will have, even once COVID's done, we'll have a significant portion of availability to work from home if need be.
I think that's where so many people are going, just moving forward. If all the jobs that people are saying couldn't have been done from home, it turns out that a lot of them can. And
they can. Yeah, I'm a convert, I guess you would call me.
There you go.
I thought it wouldn't work, but it has been. Our veterans are as well taken care of as ever. We're busier than ever. We're helping more people than ever. So for the right candidate, I mean, if it was someone perfect and they couldn't make it to the office, we could probably make it work too.
Yeah. Oh, right on. Well, that's good to know. And, send us some information about that, and we'll put it in our newsletters and our social and whatnot and get the word out about that. Back Law has been, they're a partner of ours, a sponsor. We're big fans of them. So let's dive right in. I want to know, let me paint a picture for you. So I am a veteran, and let's say I twisted my ankle when I was in the service, and it just hasn't been the same since. Or and I don't have any sort of claim for it, or I have a claim that's associated with it, and I have a rating of 0%. They say it's service connected, but we don't get anything for it. But I know it's changing my way of life. I can't walk around in this ankle that I twisted in the service of my country. I'm sure you come across things like that, people that are not rated for ailments that came about either during or by virtue of their service, or they're rated way too low. Yeah. And I'm sure that people are watching are like, okay, so how do I get what is owed to me? What is a benefit of mine as a former prior service member? So,
a couple of different situations there. The people who do not yet have a claim, as a law office, I'll talk to people in that situation, but it really doesn't make sense to hire us if you're just filing for the first time. Because we wouldn't take the case, because a lot of them, you're just going to file, you'll get approved. You don't need a lawyer.
Okay.
So, but that being said, what ends up happening, and I see it more and more, and I got to put this disclaimer out there. I'm not a vet, so all of my experiences are dealing with vets. I try to put myself in a veteran's shoes as much as possible to understand where they're coming from, but I'm not. So that's out there. But, when I think about it, a lot of people, they sign up very young, 18 years old, get into the military. You do a 4-year, you sign a 4-year contract, and you're 22 years old, right? Okay. So let's say when you were 20, you twisted your ankle a little bit.
Right.
You're 20 years old, you're in the military, the toughest of the tough, most likely. And maybe you have a little pain, or maybe it doesn't hurt at all at that point. You get out, you're ready to get out. They cut you loose and you run as far away from the military as you can. That's not everybody, but that's what I'm finding.
Some people do. Yep.
They're ready to get out, and they just don't look back. Okay, well, now you've got this little ache. You're 22 years old. You deal with it, right? You rub some dirt on it. You go to work. You live your life. You're a productive citizen. You have a job. You have a family, and you just, you deal with the pain. Well, what ends up happening a lot of times is down the road, and when you were 22, you weren't thinking this, but now let's say you're 40, you've had this pain for 18 years. You've walked on it. It's gotten worse and worse and worse and worse. Right. And finally it gets to the point where you're just like, you know what? I can't just rub dirt on it and deal with it anymore. I have to go see a doctor. Then you go to the doctor and they say, oh yeah, you've got traumatic arthritis. You've got this, you've got that. So you say, okay, well, I think, it's finally time that I think it's bad enough that I need help from the VA. So I'm going to file my first claim. So you file your first claim. The VA takes a look at your service records. They say, oh yeah, okay, we saw you twisted your ankle in the service. So what we're going to do is we're going to send you for a comp and pen exam, compensation and pension exam, to one of their physicians. The physician's going to look at the ankle. They're going to measure your range of motion. They're going to ask you all about it. And then they're going to give an opinion whether that issue you're dealing with today stems from that original injury that happened in the service.
Right.
Well,
and the extent to which.
And the extent to how bad it is, of course, right. So what ends up happening in that situation a lot, and we see it all the time, is the examiner says, yeah, you had this injury in the service, and yeah, you've got arthritis now in that body part. However, it's been 18 years. You haven't gotten treatment in 18 years. There's no continuity of symptoms. There's no continuity of treatment. So they can't be related. And that's, I would say, 75% of our claims are that exact situation. The person got out of the service, went about their business, dealt with their issues, never asked for help because they thought they didn't need it at the time.
Right.
And then when they finally bite the bullet and, contact the VA for the help that they need, the VA says, well, since you didn't ask for help for so long, it can't be related to.
Yeah, it can't possibly be related.
So that's where we come in. And, there's a couple of ways we fight that. Number one, we try to get a real historical view of the injury. Okay. Were you married at the time when you got out? Does that person know how you were dealing with your ankle? Can they testify or write a statement about, you complaining about pain right from the get-go and just dealing with it? Stuff like that. And then we end up getting those statements. And then a lot of times what we have to do is we have to get one of our own physicians involved. I shouldn't say our own because we don't have our own physicians, but
right.
Physicians we know that are familiar with VA processes, language, what they're looking for. We send it off once we've got all the evidence developed, and we say, hey, do you think that these two are related? If they say yes, then we generally will ask for them to provide an opinion. And if they say no, which does happen because they're real doctors, and and we're not doctors, so we don't always know. We sometimes they say, honestly, the evidence just isn't strong enough, and we say, okay, well, thank you for that. We let the veteran know that, it's just we can't prove it, and we go on our way. But if they say yes, we pay for the opinion, we send it in, and we fight the VA's opinion with our opinion, and that's what ends up happening. It usually takes a long time because the lower level decision makers are instructed to just follow the VA doctor opinions. I think at least, it seems like that's what happens no matter how much better your opinion is or who sent it, who wrote it, what their credentials are. They're always going to go with their subject matter expert, which is their doctor, until we get to either the BVA or into the courts. And then, so that's typically what we see and what happens in a musculoskeletal. Now, if it's a 0%, nothing makes me madder than when I see a 0% major joint, because the law says that if you've got a joint, whether it be an ankle, knee, hip, back, elbow, as long as it's not like a toe or a finger, if it's a major joint and you have any pain, that's supposed to be a minimum of 10%.
Right.
Right. And like, okay, so I don't even have an ankle condition. I'll tell you what, my ankle hurts every once in a while. Right. So you can't tell me this person who literally has an arthritic condition in a joint. Never it drives me nuts. And when I'm seeing it the most is when I see it the most with these pre-discharge exams. I don't know if you went through that or of that, but
I do. Yeah, I'm all sorts of jacked up in various ways. I'm 80%. I had a really good I had a lot of support from, I was stationed in Texas. I had the Texas Vet Commission submit my stuff before I left, and they just nailed it. They did a great job.
Well, a lot of people don't have that support, and what ends up happening, so when you get out of the service or prior to it, you can tell them everything that you think is bothering you, and they'll give you a pre-discharge exam.
Right.
The issue is they give you one examiner for the entire exam. They give you basically a general practitioner. So you tell them, okay, I've got migraines, I've got an ankle condition, I've got breathing condition. Well, they just give you to this one person who's a doctor who gives an opinion on all of those things. Well, if you were to go to the VA and claim those things independently, you would get a specialist for each condition. You would get a pulmonary specialist. You would get an orthopedic specialist. You would get the people who are specialists, and you would get like a 20-page exam for each issue. Whereas like those pre-discharge exams are usually like 3 or 4 pages for dozens of issues. They give you a 2-sentence answer. So what I'm seeing in those pre-discharge exams is they just don't answer the questions that you need. And the rater at the VA, rather than asking for clarification or more information, they'll just say, oh, there's no evidence of pain on the exam. It's because it wasn't addressed on the exam. It wasn't that they said there's no pain. It just says, yeah, they have an ankle condition. That's the end of it. And then there's no measurements. There's no So whenever if I see that, or if I see headaches at 0, it just blows my mind, and I
Right, because there's evidence of concussion or TBI or yeah.
Yeah, well, if it's at a 0, they're saying, yeah, you've got the condition. If you've got a headache condition that's rated at 0, that's meaning that you have headaches less than once every 2 months. That's what a 0% rating is on a headache condition. Okay,
I looked at mine out of curiosity, and I'm not going to go too in depth, obviously, with my personal stuff. But my 0% is right elbow strain, recurring joint pain, right elbow, never been the same, never been the same, and it's at 0% service connected.
If you say that's like that's directly in opposition to the law. If literally the name of the rating is recurrent right elbow pain.
Yeah, also claimed as elbow joint recurring pain, right? 0%.
Okay, so if you have,
we need to have a conversation after this.
Honestly, it would be most likely. Have you had an exam since your pre-discharge exam?
Yeah, I had a comp and pen for. Okay, so I should share a picture of this. This is not so. When I was in, I had something going on with my right lip. Right.
Okay.
I don't remember what it was, but they tried to fix it by giving me a shot.
Okay.
The thing blows up to like a bratwurst. I had like half of a bratwurst where my lip should have been, and purple, and then so it shrunk down, but it's never been the same. And so I filed for it because it hurts, and it looks like if you look close, especially oddly enough, if I like jog or get my heart rate up, this part of my lip will just get purple and swell up a little bit.
Oh my gosh, you're kidding.
It's the craziest thing. So, and it never happened before they they put the shot in there. Anyway, so I went in, I went through the process. I filed it through, I think, DAV. And then I went in for a comp and pen exam. And you're right, it did take a couple months process, but I did get a 10% for a disfigurement. I'm officially disfigured, and a 10% for the pain because it doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
Which I thought was a little insulting, but you know, but I did go through the process at least, and it did work, and it took a couple months, but you know, there's that at least.
So your elbow, most likely, you know, it was reviewed on a discharge exam, and it didn't have the necessary information, which is why you got a 0.
Oh, wait, my guess. Hold on, I'm sorry. I did right after I got out of the service. They brought me in and they did the full range of all the things that I was claiming. And I did a range of motion for my shoulders and blah, 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 blah. And it was after that I realized it had been rated at 0%.
So what I would do is I would just file an increase on that issue only.
Okay.
I get nervous trying to increase things that are rated at some sort of compensable rating because you don't know how many people I have that come to me where they say, yeah, I went in for an increase and the doctor said I got better and decreased me, and constantly.
That can happen.
Oh yeah. So it's really, I mean, a 0, there's no risk of a 0%. And there's usually no risk if it's a 10%, because like I was telling you, if you ever have pain in that joint, that's supposed to be a 10% minimum. So what I would do is I would just, you know, you can log into your va.gov or your eBenefits account. Just tell them that elbow, you would like an increase exam. They'll look at it. Now, the funny thing is if you're 80%, depending on how that plays out, you might get a 10% rating on your elbow, and that might not even do anything.
Might not even. Yeah, I got my lip thing. I got 10% for the disfigurement and 10% for the pain.
Yeah.
And I was at 80 before, and I'm 80 after. Didn't do it.
Yeah. So because VA math is goofy.
Yeah.
You know, 80 plus 10 is 80 still. Sometimes it gets you. If you get it up to an 85, then it rounds up to 90. But
weird.
Yeah, it's goofy.
That. Yeah, interesting. Well, to see, so now you've helped me. That's good for me to know. So let me ask you this, because I'm sure people that are watching are curious. Yeah. It's really, really interesting stuff. Oh, and we do have some new comments. I just want to make sure that I am getting all of these. All right, these live events you put together are oh, let me see. I need help in this arena. Is there a number I can call? I was told all my issues were denied. I found out 10 years ago I got a 0, so I paid out of pocket. Tyler, good to see you again this week, by the way. Love the picture of you, and Gunner, I think, is the name of that adorable. Tell me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure it's Gunner. It's a really cool name, anyways. Love the picture. Okay, so the two questions that I have that are related to this. The second one is, how do you get in touch with Jim and Tabak Law to get the information you need to help? And before that, who gets paid? Is the veteran paying out of pocket for your services, or are you going to bat for them? And
that's a great question.
I think that's a really good question. So let's do that first and then talk about how to get in touch.
So here's how attorneys get paid. We do get paid.
Well, of course.
If we win. Only if we win, though. So what ends up happening is if there is an appeal that we file, only appeals. We can only get paid on appeals. Like if I were to help someone file a new claim and they got approved, which I've done just because the person needed help.
You care about the community.
I do care, and I felt like, you know, I could do it, and they wouldn't get the help they needed anywhere else. So I've done it. And if we file a new claim and it gets approved, there's no fee. If we file a new claim, it gets denied, well, then we file an appeal. Now, if we do, or if it comes to us and they've already been denied, we file the appeal. What ends up happening is when we actually win the claim, the VA calculates what the back pay is owed on that particular issue. So it's only the difference in what we win them versus what they were previously getting paid. And our fee is a one-time fee of 20% of whatever that back pay is. And what ends up happening is we take 20%, which is really low. A lot of people take a higher amount. And the reason we take 20% is because the VA will withhold that amount. If you charge 20%, they'll withhold your fee for you and pay you directly, so that the veteran never really has to see that money. And it's sort of like, you know, like they don't even realize that it happened or whatever. You know, they don't have to cut you a check afterwards. It's just,
and that's why I asked that question. That's a really important point, because there are services that do this, and I think Tabak Law is one of the premier ones. We're partners of theirs. We love them and their support and what they do. And so you don't pay them. Let's say Tyler, for example, you have an appeal. You got rated for, I've seen friends get rated at 0% for, like, they had like TBI, major depressive disorder, recurring headaches, blah, 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 you know, like not service connected, not rated, blah, 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 blah. And then they go to like a Tabak Law and say, look, help me out. And they go from 0% to 70% rated, 80% rated, 100% rated with back pay that was owed to them. Nobody's cheating any system. This was a benefit that was denied incorrectly, improperly. So they're getting the benefits that were owed to them. They get back pay. Let's say back pay in some cases. I have a buddy that got $75K in back pay, to some weird tens of thousands, because they went back 10, 15, 20 years of monthly stipend. And then so at that point is when the lawyer will take the portion of that. Which, seriously, if somebody went to bat for me and collected tens of thousands of dollars in back pay for me, that's 20% of that is more than I had before. Like, it's not costing the veteran anything.
Well, and here's the other thing, Adam, and this is what sets us apart from VSOs is, you know, I've got a successful practice to fund this practice area, which is kind of my baby. And what we can do then is, you know, there's been multiple cases where we need to put $1,500, $2,000 worth of opinions into the file, which we will do in a heartbeat if it's a good case, you know, and that's sort of just the benefit. Sometimes you just get stuck, and that's what you need, unfortunately.
I'm putting your information in here.
Oh, thank you.
Just so we can, I know I want to make sure that we're getting that information out there. It looks like we've got some people that are really interested in this conversation right now. And I will be sure to actually cut and paste that as well. I'm going to put that in the feed right there. Look at that. Excellent. I love StreamYard. It makes that so
simple. Let me give you a better phone number.
Oh, okay.
That one goes to our intake, but, you know, if it's through Veteran Chamber of Commerce, I'll have it routed directly to me. Put 414-600-8067.
414 600
8067.
8067. And that is.
That will go directly to my receptionist at our office right across from the VA hospital in Milwaukee. And she knows how to get a hold from, and just tell her that you want to either talk to Jim, or if I'm not available, get in my voicemail and I'll reach out to you ASAP.
There it is.
You know, and that's something that I like to talk to as many people as I can. I'll tell you, we get about 1,500 inquiries per month.
Whoa.
So I obviously can't talk to everybody. So I've got a team. I've got just the greatest attorneys working for me, the greatest paralegal / case managers. I couldn't be happier. We've helped so many vets, and and I know these people. If it wasn't for us, I don't think that there would have been the help out there to get them what they need.
Right. And I want to field this question really quick. I'm sorry to derail. Arlen, there will be a recording of this if you check out Wisconsin Veterans Chamber of Commerce on LinkedIn or Facebook or YouTube or Twitch if you're on it. The recording of this live stream will live on in perpetuity. So I know some people are definitely going to want to see that. Thank you for your question, Arlen. And I would encourage all of you to check out all my links, or rather the Linktree link that I put in the comments, to follow us across all platforms so you don't miss out on some of this valuable information. So Jim, we talked about if you have a 0% service connection, which is usually home run. What about, and two questions here, what about something that is not as physically definable? Let's say right now I get diagnosed with depression, major depressive disorder, and I'm put on medication for it. And I can say, look, I know that this started when I was in my 20s, when I was in the service. I just know it. And I can pinpoint and blah, 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 but it's not necessarily provable. I don't have a broken bone on my medical record. How did people go about that? Is that anything that people can address?
You know, that is something that it depends. Now, when you're looking at mental health for VA benefits, there's two things that they're looking for in service. They're looking for evidence of it appearing during the service, or they're looking for what's called a stressor, which is basically some sort of incident that happened that you witnessed where you experienced, severe or extreme fear. And if neither of those two things are there, they're going to deny that claim. Right. Now, sometimes, if you were someone who was overseas, you're pretty much going to be given a comp pen exam, because they're going to concede that you have a valid stressor. If you were over in, I shouldn't say overseas, if you were in a war zone such as Iraq, Afghanistan. I mean, if you were in Germany, that's not going to be enough to.
You never left Ramstein Air Base.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you're in Germany, or you stayed stateside or whatever, you would actually have to prove some sort of event happened. Such as you witnessed a helicopter crash. That's a case I had. You witnessed someone accidentally shooting another person or something like that. Those are the things you would have to actually prove through records that event happened. Now, if you were in a war zone or anywhere that you can prove that there was some sort of combat type activity going on, if you were in Vietnam, or if you were in, like I said, the Middle East, or even if you were in Kosovo or somewhere where we all know that something happened and it's verifiable that you were there during that event, they will concede that you were in a stressful enough environment to give you an exam to see whether or not your current diagnosis has any linkage to that event. Right. Another one, though, that a lot of people don't think about, and you mentioned a broken bone, but I don't think you mentioned it in the context that I'm thinking of. A lot of people, and this is just, I've witnessed this in all sorts of disability cases, not just veteran, but when you're physically disabled or incapacitated or unable to do the things you used to do, a lot of times that results in a secondary mental health condition related to the physical issues. And that's one that a lot of people don't think of, you know, and that's something that I try to, I guess, probe for when I'm talking to someone who has these physical issues, you know, because you find out, okay, a good portion of them are receiving like a depression medication or an anxiety medication,
Sure.
you know, and it makes sense, right? You were this strapping person, joined the military, tough person, and all of a sudden now, you know, you're talking to people, I can't even like, you know, run, I can't walk upstairs, I can't carry the groceries, and that's really taxing on a person emotionally. So so that's another way.
Sleep apnea is fairly common. Service connection. Hear that there's at least a tangential relationship to depression.
There is mental health, sleep issues related to mental health have been linked. I don't know if cause is the right word, but there's a higher occurrence of sleep apnea in these people.
Well, how do you know something like that? Like, let's say somebody's rated for, they use a CPAP, they're rated for sleep apnea, and they're also on medication for depression, but that the depression part isn't service connected, isn't even on the radar of the VA. Sure. How do you even go about making that connection?
So the depression is not service connected. That's a harder one. You got to get that.
Throwing a bunch of hypotheticals at
you got to get the depression first,
time,
because you got to get the primary condition before you can get the secondary. Another one that ends up happening, and this is one that is, you know, and let me preface this by saying a lot of people don't think about injuries and disabilities as being, you know, systemic, right? Sure, they think about, okay, I hurt my knee. Well, I got a bad knee. But they're not thinking about now all of a sudden, okay, this person can't exercise like they used to.
Right.
It causes depression. A lot of times when that happens, then they become sedentary. And then sedentary leads to weight gain, which leads to diabetes or sleep apnea. So that's something that, you know, I try to take a whole person approach when I'm looking at a VA case, because a lot of that stuff, you know, wouldn't have happened but for that original issue. And the law is very clear that if you can make that type of a connection, it's supposed to be compensated. And you asked, how do we do that? It comes down to medical literature, studies, and then getting an opinion sometimes from you know, a well-known person or someone who is very knowledgeable in the area. You know, I've gotten opinions from department heads at UCLA Medical School before. I can go out and I can find people that are well-known, have studied this, have written on it, have done, you know, and if they're willing to say, yeah, they're probably connected, that's what we do.
What if a lot of time, and I'm throwing a bunch of hypotheticals at you, but my dad, for example, is a Vietnam veteran.
Sure.
And I know that there are a lot of people that have, I mean, he's 76 years old, not VA connected in any way. However, what if he right now, not saying he does, but what if he right now discovered that he has issues that stem from Vietnam, Agent Orange related issues, depression related issues. Again, not saying that he does, he's perfectly fine. But
doesn't matter how long. There's no statute of limitations.
Okay.
You know, and here's kind of an interesting thing with mental health, and it makes sense if you just kind of think about it. But I have found that a lot of my people who are more advanced in age, maybe even retired or you know, beyond their working years, have a huge uptick in their mental health issues. Their depression increases, PTSD increases. Right. You know, you think about it, all your life, you're kind of in this rat race, so to speak, to like work overtime, make the money, get your family, your kids through school, take care of this, take care of that. And then all of a sudden
you got more time with your thoughts.
Exactly. You know, and then you retire and you're like, you're sitting on your rocking chair, you know,
reflecting,
not to be overly, you know, stereotyping, but it happens. And that's, you know, a lot of times my grandpa, I literally It's so funny. I've been working with VA benefits for 15 years, give or take now.
Okay.
My grandpa just 2 years ago tells me he's been hard of hearing forever, but he worked in a factory, so I thought it was related to his factory job.
Right.
He's a Korean War vet. He tells my family 2 years ago about this incident in service where a grenade explosion happened very close to him, and he lost hearing in one of his ears for like 2 weeks, and then it came back. and he's been just super deaf for like forever. It was a joke. Like the TV would be so loud at their house you could not have a conversation in any room. You had to go outside. So I'm like, Grandpa, why didn't you tell me about this like 10 years ago?
Did you get him?
So we file a claim, immediately approved with 60% service connection.
And decades of back pay?
No, not back pay. No, because it goes only to the date that you file your first claim.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Yep. So the back pay can never go beyond when you filed your first claim. Sometimes you can get the VA to, if you get denied and your appeal process lapses, sometimes you can get them to go back in very rare circumstances if you can find a mistake bad enough that they call it a clear and unmistakable error. But typically it's the date that you have a valid claim in is the earliest that you can get paid to. So he didn't get back pay, but I'm like, you
60% rating. That's a monthly stipend. That's nothing to shake a stick at. That's very helpful.
I know, and he's he's 92 years old. What ended up happening was my grandma passed a while ago, right before he did that, and they were living on 2 Social Security checks. They still have they own a house. It's paid off, but they've got the taxes and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, so one of your 2 checks, which you're paying your utilities and taxes from, is taken away from you.
Right.
And he said, I don't know what I'm going to do. And then he thought about it, and he's like, I should try the VA. And I asked him, like, well, why didn't you tell me sooner? This is my life's work. We talk about it literally every time I'm there.
It never occurred to him, man. That's nuts.
Oh, yeah. Well, and it did occur to him. He said, you know what? I just never needed it, so I didn't do it.
Right.
I needed it. So,
and I think, and I'm not saying this is your grandpa's case, but in a lot of cases, there's a pride thing, especially with the older generation of vets. They don't want to go in and say, hey, there's something wrong with me, or I don't need the benefits. But I mean, those are things. I mean, you served your country, and you made personal sacrifices, physical, mental, social, all of your pillars of wellness. You made sacrifices in every area. And, before you even signed on the dotted line, the government, the Department of Defense, made a promise to you to take care of you in return for your sacrifice and your service. And this is this is a benefit. This is an entitlement. This is something that you are owed. This isn't. I mean, anybody that has any hesitation about filing a VA claim about an injury, mental, physical, or otherwise, because you're not sure if you don't want to feel like you're taking advantage of somebody or cheating the system or gaming the system. If you're lying, obviously don't lie. I mean, if you actually have chronic, persistent things, as light as they may be now, they could not be down the road. You know what I mean? If you have light hearing loss now, you could be deaf for 20 years, and it could be service related. So get in there, file that claim, and get that service connection. And if you already have a service connection that's rated too low or rated at 0, man, you gotta get some help. And if you do, I would suggest talking to an expert like Jim or his team over there at Tabak Law for sure.
And if you are rated before you file, especially if it's you're getting compensated, even if you think it's too low, talk to someone that knows something before you do it, because too many people are getting their benefits taken away. And it's really unfortunate when someone comes to me and they've been 70% all their life, and now the VA is trying to say they're 20% because they went into one exam, and you gotta realize those exams, those are a snapshot, right? Like that person is seeing you for maybe half an hour,
right?
And they're typically in the morning, before your problems are terrible, you're still fresh. Right. Like I said, well, why don't you schedule it at like 6 o'clock after the person worked all day and then come measure how bad their knee is, or
yeah.
Because it's supposed to be, the law is supposed to be the worst it is. That's what they're supposed to rate, the worst it ever gets. And what ends up happening is they schedule them early in the morning. The person gets there, they haven't done anything, they're fresh as could be, and then they go and they sit in there, and it's all based on range of motion, and all of a sudden, they're not having pain yet because they haven't used it, and it ends up showing their range of motion improved, and then all of a sudden the VA is trying to say that they've gotten better when everyone that knows them and the vet themselves know it's definitely not true. It's a goofy system.
It is. It's a really, it's a big machine. It's a intricate system, and it takes the careful consideration of an expert in many cases, like Jim and his team over at Tabak Law. I wish we could, I'm sure we could talk for hours, and I got about a million hypotheticals I could throw at you, but I don't see any more comments here in the comment section, not at least in my feed. If you're commenting on LinkedIn right now, sometimes the comments between there and here can be a little hinky, so I'm going to go click over there right now and check to ensure that I'm not missing comments or questions. If I have up until this point, I apologize. Let me see. I think we're good to go.
Did you put my email out there by chance?
I did not, but I can.
Why don't you? If anybody's got a quick question, you want to just shoot me an email, I'm all for it.
I think you and I need to talk about my elbow, Jim. Let's see. I'm going to put here, contact Jim. There's your email, and I'm going to go ahead and just put your phone number there again.
Okay, perfect.
8067. And I'm going to put that here, and I got to chat separately in LinkedIn. That's the only thing that drives me nuts. Post is I gotta, for some reason, StreamYard, as awesome as it is, everything looks pretty, and it doesn't play nice right now with LinkedIn. Hopefully they work on that, so I can actually not only receive but also give comments. Anyways, Jim, my friend, I appreciate your time today.
Oh, it was great. I loved it.
Appreciate you sharing your expertise with the Wisconsin Veterans Chamber of Commerce and our office hours community. It looks like we had quite a few viewers on here. I think it would be great to have you on again someday.
Sure.
And we can talk more benefits stuff. We could do a regular thing. That'd be spectacular.
Awesome. And I just, like I said, I'm not a vet, but honestly, this is the honor of my life to serve these people that have done so much and sacrificed so many things for really not a lot of reward. Let's face it, you're not getting rich in the military as an enlisted person. Like, that's not what you're doing it for, right? You're doing it because it's a good thing to do, and you're willing to sacrifice for your country, and that means something. So
absolutely. Well, appreciate all you do for our community, Jim. And with Tabak Law, check out them via the email address, the links, everything that I put in the comments there. If you have any follow-up questions, reach out to the Wisconsin Veterans Chamber of Commerce, myself, or Jim. Make sure to follow us across platforms. Click on our link tree, and you can follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram. Like I said, we wear a little bit of a different hat on each of those platforms. So follow us across the board, and be sure to sign up for our newly streamlined newsletter. And finally, final reminder, we are hiring. We are looking for membership directors, people that are passionate advocates, that are veterans, that are military family members, that are looking to help the Wisconsin business community by lifting up our veteran community and our military families as well. So reach out to the Wisconsin Veterans Chamber of Commerce if you think that you or somebody you know is a fantastic fit. All right, I'm going to hang on the line with Jim, but for everybody else, I'm going to end the broadcast. Jim, thanks for your time again.
Yeah, thank you so much.